What's up guys, it's Jake here from Chief Live Gaming. Today a painting tutorial for you. We are going to finish this Nurgle Plague Hulk, what you see right in front of you right now. We're going to pick up where we left off in part 1, where we painted the skin as well as most of the mechanical parts, so the rust of this model. Now in part 2, we're going to come in with some detail work and some special effects, so things like this Nurgle-y looking gross blood and bile. So what I want to mention, a couple things before we get into it. I recorded this tutorial over the span of a couple months actually, where I was moving into my house. So if you guys notice the coloration change a little bit, it's because I was using a different camera or a different cinema filter on my camera, so it kind of changes the hue of everything just a little bit. But I want to provide some pictures for you guys before we get started that I took on my camera that will show you the true color of the model, just so you can get an idea, the actual coloration of things, so there's no confusion. Second thing, I like to talk and think about multiple ways to paint this model. So I do try to do kind of a quick paint job, some techniques that are quick and easy to get a good tabletop standard, or what I would like to think of as a tabletop standard. So I will try to explain things in like a couple different options for you guys. So if you wanted to take this model even further, or if you wanted to do it slightly differently, there are a couple different ways that you could do that, and I'll try to go over them with you in this video. So let's take a look at those pictures real quick, guys, and then jump right back into the tutorial. Hope you guys enjoy it. Alright guys, here's where we left off in part 1. The skin has been base coated, as well as all of the major mechanical parts of the model have been painted in rust. So now, we're going to pick up some detail work. To start off, we're going to use Ushabti bone, this nice bone tan light color. And if you don't have Ushabti bone, pretty much any shade that you can find that's close to this will work great. You could go a little lighter or a little darker. It's not going to make a huge difference in the end. And we're going to base coat all of the pustules, the pock marks, the areas of broken skin, and things like the horn and rib cage that's broken and sticking out on his left side. So by doing it this way, we're setting up for some quick techniques later that will tint this color and give us a few different shades. But because it's all base coated in this same bone color, there's going to be some cohesiveness across the model, and it's not going to bug your eye by seeing a bunch of different colors. It's going to kind of all blend in nicely and provide a more convincing look. Now, I do skip some of the skin areas on the model. I didn't paint everything in this color that I probably could have, but that's kind of personal taste. You guys could use it more liberally or do a little bit more of a reserved approach like I did. While that's drying, we're going to come in with some typhus corrosion and touch up all of those small mechanical parts that kind of blend in with the skin area of the model. So there's a lot of tubes and connective tissue on the back that's surrounded by these mechanical parts. So just make sure to take a close look at the model, get in there, and base coat it with that typhus corrosion. Once that's done, there are a few little pock marks and pustules that are growing over the mechanical parts. You could come back in and hit those with the same Ushabti bone color. Next up, grab your favorite pink color and come in to base coat the guts and the tongue. So we're going to darken this down later. The amount that you darken it is all going to be a personal preference sort of thing, but I like to start out with this ultra bright pink to really provide some contrast that I can dim down and kind of blend in as I see fit based on the model. for our highlight color on these parts, we're going to use Ushabti bone again, and that's just to provide some nice cohesion across the model. Again, everything is going to kind of blend together. So I'm dry brushing here. You could definitely edge highlight if you wanted to be a little more accurate. But I like to spill into the skin. As you can see, the whole surrounding area I'm hitting pretty heavily with this dry brush, and that's because I'm going to, again, tint everything down, blend it together, and by having this highlighted area on the edge of the skin, it's going to help to make that transition look kind of sore and bruised and just nasty. Now it's on to a purple tone by Army Painter. This is an ink. And we're going to start that blending process that we talked about to dull down these really bright, high contrast colors. So I like to very, very heavily come in with this purple tone and get it over all those areas we just dry brushed and sort of feather it out into the skin. So this is really going to help, again, sell that transition and make that area around the guts that are spilling out look really sore and just really bruised and nasty. Once the purple's dry, pick up a red tone and come in and do the exact same thing again. This is just going to help blend everything together a little bit more and give us a more realistic kind of gut and open sore kind of look to everything. So again, guys, with these shades, it's more personal preference than anything, so experiment with it. You could do multiple coats of each color, you could switch back and forth, and just keep feathering everything out until you get a look that you're happy with. Next, I like to come in with a brown wash. We're going to hit those same areas one more time. So the brown does a nice job of giving us some shade in the recesses and the cracks and crevices, but it also blends everything together that we've done previously into a nice earthy, kind of muted and realistic tone that I really just like. So give it a try, guys, and see what you think. While we've got the brown wash out, work your way around the model and hit all of the areas that you painted in Ushabti bone earlier. So same idea, this gives us a little bit more realistic look and tone to all these areas. And as well, it helps to bring out some of those details and really gives us a nice starting point for our next step. So as I worked my way around the model, I decided that I thought the model would look better with a full model wash on the skin with this Agrex Earthshade or brown tone. So depending on how you guys did the skin and where you're at with the skin, you might want to do this and you might want to hold off. It's just kind of a personal preference thing. I decided to go for it just to tie everything together a little bit more. But I would definitely try just the Ushabti bone areas first and see how you like it and kind of go from there. We're pretty much done with the skin now, so we're going to pick up Rizza Rust and come back into these mechanical parts to blend them and make them look more like the surrounding legs and rear end of the model. So you notice that I'm dry brushing and hitting some of those raised pock marks that we worked so hard on before with the Ushabti bone. That's okay. Giving it that orange little tint is just going to add a little more interest and diversity to your model. For the next step, we're going to grab a yellow glaze. This is Lamenter's Yellow from Citadel. And what I like to do here is kind of randomly pick out some different pockmarks or broken skin areas and use this yellow to tint them and give them kind of a nasty, pussy look. So try not to think about it too hard, guys. Just work your way around the model, kind of randomly pick different areas to tint with this yellow, and this is going to help break up that sort of monotonous look to all of these pustules and give you some different shades and different tones to all of them. It's at this point that I like to put down a matte varnish to protect my paint job and protect the model. So we're doing this now instead of after the model is fully painted, because in the next couple steps we're going to use some glossy effects and gloss technical paints. So if we were to put the gloss effects down and then the matte varnish, we would get a really weird dulled down effect and not what we're going for with those gloss paints. So by clear coating now, we're going to still get that protection and still get the look that we want out of our technical paints. Make sure to give that varnish plenty of time to dry before you move on to Nurgle's Rot. Now this is one of the most fun stages of painting this model. We get to go around and make everything look super nasty and nurgly. When you apply Nurgle's Rot over some of the different paint schemes that we've already laid down, you get a really cool kind of bile and just gross look to the model. Things like the guts, the tongue are just going to look super nasty. So, word of caution, I would not overdo this effect. Take it slow. Be a little conservative with it, because if you do too much, it can ruin the model really quickly. I've done that before. So I would definitely recommend taking your time with it, letting it dry, see how you like it, and keep kind of going through that process. So you're hitting these areas that we base coated with Ushabti bone a few steps ago, and remember that some of them have that Lamenter's yellow over them, and some of them don't. So you're going to get different levels of shade and different levels of kind of gross tones out of all of these pockmarks and pustules. The next technical paint we're going to use is Blood for the Blood God. You guessed it, guys. We're going to use all kinds of blood effect all over this model. So again, I would caution you to take your time with the blood effect. As you see here, as I paint over the guts that we worked so hard on, the blood effect really mutes down and kind of washes out all that work we did with the different shades and highlights. It kind of just blends it all together and makes it look bloody. And you lose a lot of that effect that we worked so hard for earlier. So just keep that in mind, guys. I did this to kind of illustrate that point that maybe you could have skipped some of these highlights, some of these dry brushing effects, if you were just going to make a super bloody looking model anyway. Save yourself a little bit of time. Now for the rest of the model, I like to kind of just think about where there would be some blood splattered around from different battles, or, you know, impaling dark angels or something on these spikes. There'd be some blood, and just kind of try to use a stippling technique to give a realistic spray or splatter pattern to that area. Again, guys, be careful. Don't overdo it. Unless you like really bloody models like I do, you can ruin a model really quick with blood, just like you can with Nurgle's Rot. So take your time, apply it moderately, and just have fun with it. Another great tip that isn't shown a whole lot in this video clip is putting the blood effect over that Nurgle's Rot that we've laid down earlier. So if you look at the barrel of his Rot cannon, you can see that Nurgle's Rot is really green and kind of, it bugs me. So what you can do really quickly and easily is put a little bit of blood over that, and it mutes it down and gives it a kind of nice look. That's just something that I like to do, and maybe you guys will like it also. That's it, guys. We're all finished. Here's the completed model. You can see what I'm talking about with the different levels of Nurgle's Rot and Blood for the Blood God kind of combining to make a nasty sort of seeping wound look, with that bile of the green underneath and the yellow mixing together with the red to make almost an orange color that really does complement the orange that we used on the skin in step 1. And if you did choose to use more orange on the model, it really does blend together well. You'll just have to experiment and find out what you guys like best. So as we move around to the front, you can see I did paint the eye. I didn't show that in the tutorial, but I used a bright green with some dry brushing around the edge to give a little bit of a glow or OSL look. I like green for Nurgle's models. You could use red, any other color that you want, I think, to give a neat kind of flair to the model. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial on this awesome Forgeworld Plague Hulk model. I do love Nurgle, so it's no surprise that I had a really good time painting this guy up, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching the process, can use the information to maybe create your own. awesome Nurgle models. If you guys have any suggestions, comments, criticism on my painting tutorials, please leave them in the comment box below. I read all of your comments and I do appreciate all the feedback that you guys leave me. If you have suggestions for the next tutorial, anything that you want to see me paint up, leave it down in the comment section below and we'll try to make that happen for you guys. I want to close out this video by mentioning Patreon, my personal crowdfunding page, linked in the description below. If you guys are interested, you can check that out and support my YouTube channel, help support my painting tutorials and everything I do at Chief Live Gaming. Patrons do earn some cool rewards and extra entries into giveaways that I host. The next one will be at 750 subscribers, just about 150 away from my current subscriber count. And with that, I'm going to leave you guys. I want to say thank you again. If you want to get more involved and see what I'm up to in between these tutorials, see some work in progress shots and all kinds of other stuff, feel free to check me out on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Links are down in the description below. And I want to say just one more time, guys, thank you so much. I couldn't do this without you. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. So have a great day, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye now.